Hello gorgeous ones, Dr. Lucy here. I haven't quite got my angle right, but anyway, it is what it is. Just before 5, I'm actually a bit early, so I might just do a little bit of rabbiting on while we wait. I'm going to press on. I've got a slightly new setup again. I'm not sure about whether it's dark or light. And interestingly, I've realised that what I see on the screen is different to what you guys see. So here have I been really worried about it being so dark, and then when I look at it in the replay, it's perfectly light. I've got a new setup with the computer to see if I can catch the, who's watching. Hello Rhonda, hi Lyndon, how are you gorgeous ones? But I don't know if it's going to work. This is really, I actually should change this segment to Lucy versus Facebook, because seriously, it does drive me a bit nuts. But anyway, today we're cooking a dish, another Lucy special, very simple. And hey Jimmy, how are you gorgeous? Today's dish is very similar to last week's, but with a slight twist. So last week I cooked a Thai poached salmon, inspired by a good friend of mine, with coconut milk and lime. Today I'm actually doing a slightly different Thai poached chicken. So if you don't like salmon, you can always substitute it for chicken. Hello Jane, gorgeous one. So what we're going to do, I'm just turning on this little fry pan. I've got my induction cooktop that's a portable one from about 100 years ago when the chef's toolbox was in existence. Hello Susan. Does anybody else have a whole pile of chef toolbox stuff now realising I didn't realise they went out of business? Now whilst I'm waiting for everyone to get on board and for this little thing to heat up, I'm just going to chop a couple of my veggies. Now remember, any of my scraps, I just put in a little plastic bag and bang them in the oven. Bang them in the, oh thank you Hannah, yes it is a good scarf. I'm going to give you Lucy's, I've got 2 of Lucy's tips, in fact 3. Put all your scraps into a bag and stick them in the freezer for when you want to make stock or bone broth or veggie paste. Tip 1. Tip 2, if your hair's a little bit greasy and you've got blonde hair, stick some talcum powder in and fluff it up. Ding. Tip 3, if you accidentally spilt a whole big blob of stuff on it and you've got a Facebook Live in 10 minutes, wear a lovely scarf. There we go. Top tips for savvy women. So this is just heating up. So what I'm doing, popping that on, I'm actually going to use, because I'm doing a Thai-based dish tonight, I've just got some coconut oil. It's cold in Melbourne, so now it actually need a jackhammer to get into it. For those of you who live in tropical countries or warm environments, you'll notice that your coconut oil is often liquid. You can buy liquid coconut oil, but it is a lot more processed. And you know me, I'm really trying to, oh yeah, Lyndon's got chef's toolbox too. I'm really trying to do minimal processing. So this is just, I don't know what it's called, virgin coconut oil. That sounds pretty minimally processed to me. So I'm just whacking a little bit of that in. And I'm just going to let that melt, and then I'm just going to fry up the onions. Now, you'll remember my tip for people that hate chopping onions, for people that avoid onions because they're so awful to chop. Or if you're just running out of time like I do on a Tuesday, I just buy my onions pre-chopped, pre-frozen, and I bang them into the pot. Whatever is left in the bag will do. So, I don't have I was going to say I don't have a wooden spoon, but really I don't need one, I've got this old spoon. Can you hear the sizzle? So I'm just going to let them go a little bit, not too much, because remember with this dish, this is the opposite to when I'm cooking, if I'm cooking say a Thai green curry, I will cook the meat, put the veggies in, put the spices in and put the coconut cream at the end. But this one, I'm poaching the dish, and so the chicken is it's not browned, so it's a lot more tender. And so I don't really want overwhelming caramel flavour of the onion. So in fact, really what I'm doing is defrosting it. And then my chicken, I've just got some Lilydale free range. If you can get, again, Tuesdays, I know it's ridiculous. I do my cooking show on Tuesday, and I've usually run out of food by this time of the week because Wednesday is my non-clinical day. Hello Marie, darling. So on a Wednesday is when I would go to the butcher and get my butcher food, but on a Tuesday I just have whatever is in the fridge. And this is partly why I chose this dish. So in fact, here I am about to pour it in, but I've forgotten a vital step, which is actually the coconut cream. Now, there's two brands of coconut cream that I like. One is AYAM, A-Y-A-M, and the other one is TCC. Both of those have no preservatives or additives. I'm giving it a good old shake because otherwise you miss out on all the fat sits on the top of the can. Okay, so I'm just going to pour that in. Now the reason I'm putting that in first is because I actually want it to reduce down a bit. So I'm going to get it to heat up before I whack my chicken in. Ooh, did you see that trick? I just threw the lid of the chicken in, the lid of the coconut in. Now, whilst this is all going on, today I have been this week is my week talking about blame and shame, the blame game, whichever you want to call it. And, you know, how our society, I've talked a lot this week in the morning lives about how our society blames people with obesity for being obese. It's all their fault is the words. It's all their fault. It's self-inflicted. If only they moved more and ate less. And for those of us in the weight loss world, we know that's rubbish. Okay, that is complete bollocks. The number of people I see who have obesity but are so active, they are busy, and you know what? Part of it is they are needing to work against the stigma. So they often are overachievers in their job, overperformers to counter the stigma that, you know, people think anybody who has obesity is just lazy and gluttonous. Now, you know, last week I put in the green chicken curry, whatever it is, mingle curry, green chicken curry. Today I'm going to do the red. Interestingly, I did the salmon, I did the picture. My husband found it a little bit hot, even though I only put in a little bit of it, but I did put in a few chilies as well. So this time I'm just going to put in the green. The red is often a little bit sweeter than the green, but I'm still not going to put in a whole packet because the sauce will reduce down and it will become quite intense, the flavour. So, oh God, I've got somebody knocking at my door. That's a bit awkward, isn't it? Oh well, bad luck. I didn't see them. Did you all see them? Anyway, clearly I'm not answering it. They're just going to have to deal. So, oh, it smells good. I'm going to tell you that. So, I don't know if you're actually saying anything, darlings, because again, sometimes the Facebook world just doesn't be my friend. Even on this, where I've tried to find me here. Oh, here I am. I found myself. Oh, but I'm behind. I was trying to find it so that I could keep up to date. Oh, I am. I'm up to date. Great, great. Any picture. Anyone who wants to say anything? Oh, good. I'm all on. So I'm actually just going to turn this down now to a simmer. It started to thicken. That coconut cream thickens so beautifully. Oh, it was a cat at the window. Oh, good. You know, we've got a worker man here doing some work out in our paddocks, and I was a tiny bit anxious that it was him knocking on the door, and he was thinking I was being so rude for not answering it, but anyway. So I've just got this beautiful, I don't know if you can see it there, this really lovely and thick coconut cream now. And now I'm going to just whack this chicken in. Again, being the savvy girl that I am, the chicken's already cut. So this is a bit of a no chop night, certainly a no wreck your chopping board night. And look, I've managed to get this in and almost throw that gel thing, whatever that is, at the bottom of the things. And I'm just going to give this a thing. So I think what we need to do is, well, what I know what we need to do is completely reframe the way we view obesity. So, you know, Mary and I know it is a metabolic disease. It is, and for the majority of people in 2021, it is due to high insulin. High insulin locks away their fat stores so that you actually can't get access to your stored fuel, so you find yourself hungry all the time. And it's not that you eat a lot because you're gluttonous. You eat a lot because you don't have any fuel. Now, I'm just trying to find a little space here. So that's good. Now what I'm going to do is put the lid on, which would be great if I actually had the lid. Wow, that's helpful. Give me a second and I'm going to grab the lid. Well, totally awkward. I couldn't find the lid, so I've just found the square one, and I'm just going to put that on because really all I want to do is keep the steam. Yes, you're right. It's the cat. She's desperate to get in, knocking on the window. So I think the thing that, you know, while I'm talking to you, I'm just going to chop a little bit of capsicum. So remember, I just use whatever is in the fridge. Every week, I order a lot of veggies, all in the low carb department. We do have potato in our house. It's not a banned substance. I don't tend to eat potato, in fact, at all. For me, I don't miss potato enough to eat it. I am perfectly happy with cauliflower mash, and I don't eat chips. So, but my kids eat potato, and sometimes my husband will. So I'm just chopping up. Look, you can see it's rough as ready. It doesn't matter. And then I've just got a capsicum, what do you call this thing? Zucchini. And again, I'm going to go a bit posh tonight. Because this is sort of a Thai dish, I'm actually going to do a few little battens, which, you know, makes me feel a bit like Fast Ed from Better Homes and Gardens, because he's a bit of a posher cook than I certainly am. In fact, he would be mortified by these battens, but I know they're going to do the job, and that's all that matters. You can see I have zero culinary skills as far as technical skills, and then I just chop them in half. But, you know, it doesn't matter. Does it? You know, here I am with a cooking show. I've got absolutely no technical skills, but I can tell you what, I can make a healthy dish in less than half an hour. We're up to 10 minutes so far. You know, as soon as I whack these in, then that'll be almost done. That chicken will cook so quickly because it's already thinly sliced. It's meant to be for stir fry. So we blame obese people for being obese, and yet we do this. Would you like some cake? No thanks. Well, go on, I made it for you. Come on, have some cake. You're no fun if you don't have any cake. That's one line we'll do. Another line might be, you're at the movies and you decide, one of you, you're in a game and somebody says, I'm going to have choc top. The other one says, no, I'm not going to have one. What do you mean you're not having a choc top? I'm going to have a choc top. You have to have a choc top. No, I don't want a choc top. All right, well, I'm not having one either then. If you're not going to have one, I'm not going to have one. Can you see what happens? So the person who is trying not to eat the crappy, shitty food gets bullied, not maliciously, but into eating the rubbish food. And then people go, oh, it's all their fault. It's all their fault. They eat too much. It's actually not. It doesn't even work like that. Like, it's so far from that as a thing. But I guess what that story is trying to highlight to you, lovelies, is the disconnect in our community. The disconnect we have between saying everyone who is overweight, it's all their fault, to, oh, right, you're not going to be any fun if you're not going to eat any junk food with me. In fact, we don't even use that word, junk food. I'm also going to tell you, this is leading up to a talk I've got later, junk food. It's not a word we use these days. The word junk food, the phrase, has been replaced by snack food. There is no junk food industry, but there is a very big snack food industry. So what do you reckon they're selling as snacks? They're selling junk. And they just maybe go out and get back in. It's going fine. Oh, I don't know what people are saying. But the junk food industry has basically rebranded itself. It's managed to sneak into the vernacular of, you know, dietetics who will use the word discretionary items. Discretionary items? What the hell is that? Do you know what a discretionary item is like? I don't know. It's like, I don't know what it is actually. It's something you need to be discreet about. So maybe a tampon, that would be my idea of a discretionary item. Certainly not a Mars bar. So I think that two things need to happen. First of all, we need to stop blaming everybody. People are trying their best. Nobody wants to be obese. Nobody wants to be carrying weight. And if it was as easy as just we'll stop eating so much, don't you think we would have all done that? So that's one of my rants. Now, I know I'm ranting, I'm preaching to the converted here. You guys are not my target audience when I say all of this, but it's really something that's super important, I think. I'm super very passionate about it because it's rubbish when we just blame people. Now, this is my one bit of fancy, a lime, a zester. I'm gonna put some lime in it. I think that with the heavy coconut, because it's concentrated, it needs a little bit of lime in there, and it just sort of cuts through the fat and gives it a little that zingy, which I do really love. So basically this is just about finished. I'll just put the lid on to get those veggies softened, and we've got poached Thai chicken. I reckon by the time it's finished it'll be 22 minutes, and it'll be on your plate. So it's really good. I love a zester. Do you know what Mary does? Dr. Mary, when her daughter wants something to do, they've got a lemon tree. She gives her a zester, gets her to zest all the lemons. It's very useful and a great distracting activity. So, Thai, green Thai. Wow. Don't you hate it when you go and you go, gee, that looks like it's got lots of lemon juice in it, and when I squeeze it out, there's like 3 drops. Luckily, I have a couple of others. It's a bit annoying. Anyway, that's life, isn't it? Yes, it's a little bit old, I think, this lime. But luckily, I seem to have a few limes, and just enough coming out here now. I'm actually going to reach over here and grab another one from my trusty fruit bowl. I don't need any more zest, but I do need a bit more juice. Onion, coconut cream, half a packet of Mingle, red. Yes, zucchini capsicum and lime zest. You've nailed it. You've nailed it, Marie. That's exactly it. If you feel like your coconut sauce is getting a little thick, again, you can just add a bit of water in or a bit of lime juice. Okay, so I'll just give that a stir through. Put the lid back on because they won't take very long at all to cook. Now, there is this temptation, of course, that people have with any Asian dish, you know, thinking it must have rice or noodles. It actually doesn't need rice or noodles at all. This one, in fact, I was going to make some coconut cauliflower rice, but actually it's so chunky it doesn't even need it. I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to put the lid on and do that. So while that cooks, I said everywhere except at work, everywhere else, yes, I can completely say no thanks to junk. Sorry, I just couldn't quite read your thing. It's Lee. I can completely say no to junk everywhere, eating out at work and everything. But at home, that's when you seek out and find your husband's hidden snack / junk and eat it. So, Lee, that is all about a boundary. So you have a boundary outside your home that says, I don't eat junk. When you get into your home, your boundary is wobbly. There's 2 reasons for that. 1, it's your home, it's your safe place. And 2, no one's watching. Okay, so nobody can see you. It's that little secret thing that we do. It's like, I use this analogy a lot about the shopping centre. When we're walking down the shopping centre, supermarket, and you're walking down the aisle, there's junk and there's rubbish everywhere, and you don't stop and open a packet of Tim Tams and eat them. You just don't. It's part of our training, it's part of our conditioning. We have walked up and down supermarket aisles a zillion times and rarely, if ever, cracked open a packet of Tim Tams. Remember, our brain is a pattern machine. It always does what you always do. So if you then have a different boundary at home, which is, I can eat junk sometimes at home, then your brain will do that. because it always does what it always does. So you'll remember, I'm just having a little stir of this. The chicken's already done. Basically, I'm just going to leave it on low to soften up the my not so neat battens. You'll remember the dog on the couch story that I told you. When the dog is in the basket and you're on the couch, life is fine. The dog's snoring is a little head off, you're watching telly, clothes are clean, it's not a problem. When you let the dog up onto the couch, at first you're happy. You go, oh, this is so nice, and the dog's wagging his tail up and he's so happy too. And then you get up and you're completely covered in dog hair and you go, oh, that's why I don't eat. That's why I don't let the dog on the couch. So the next night, quick as a flash, the dog's up on the couch before you even realise. You go, oh well, he's so cute, doesn't matter, la la la. And so you and the dog have a lovely snuggle. But that night, again, your clothes are completely covered on dog hair. And this goes on all week. Until by the end of the week, you've run out of clothes. Your vacuum cleaner's broken from vacuuming the dog hair off the couch every day. And you just say to yourself, you know what, enough. Line in the sand, enough. So the next night, you're ready. The dog tries to sneak up and you go, no. And you put him back in the basket. And he looks at you and he tries to make you feel guilty and you're tempted to let him back up, but you don't. And then the next night, he kind of half asks, but just skulks back to his basket. And by the third night, the dog kind of just gives you a sideways glance, but really he knows it's all over. So the dog is in the basket, you're on the couch, your clothes are clean. The boundaries are back in place. When you eat chocolate at home, you have essentially let the dog on the couch. So you need to re-establish that boundary and make absolutely clear in your mind that you do not eat junk at home. The things that will make it easier to do are to hide it, not in visual sight. Okay, a visual cue is what advertisers rely on all the time. This is why they are always, putting lovely pictures of their food, with the chocolate swirling on. There's no sort of ugly pictures of their food. Ooh, right, I'm just not sure what's going on there. Oh, my thing's decided to fry. I don't want it to fry, I just want it to heat low. So I think the idea is that your brain thinks that it is okay for you to eat chocolate in your house. And if you're deciding that it's not, then you have to be very, very firm, make a very strong commitment, trust, when you make it through one night of that commitment to yourself that you're not going to eat the chocolate, you actually give yourself a really big internal high five or party in your head, as I call it, because then what you're doing is establishing a new pattern and new trust with yourself. And our brain is a pattern machine. The more you do something, the more you do something. It relies on previous events to know what it's going to do for the next events. Right, my lovelies, it's nearly 20 past. I think what I might do is, I was about to say hang up from you. I'm going to put this back in. It is looking very good, but I will confess, in my non-chefly nature, I have cut the zucchini battens too thick. So I will wait till they're cooked before I plate up, and then I'll post a little picture on Instagram and on the Facebook page for you. And this is it, my beautiful Thai poached, easy, real food, low carb chicken dinner. Winner, winner. All right, lovelies, see you next time. Bye now. I'm going to come around because remember I have no film crew. It's so outrageous. And turn my own button off. See you soon. Bye, lovelies.